Okay, so we're going to be discussing the best one championship fighters who currently haven't got a belt. So last time I rated the best champions within the one championship currently. Now we're going to be discussing the best fighters who currently have not got a belt. So the criteria is going to be their one championship record. This is going to be an overall a big criteria because the one championship is where the elite of the elite are. So if you're having a good record within one, then you know you're a really good fighter. You belong to be there. Your overall record, for example, if you've went undefeated or if you've only lost a handful of times in a massive career, then again, it's impressive. It's more impressive than a shorter career, for example. The likelihood of a title shot. Now, this is obviously personal opinion because I don't know how close people are to title shots or not. But it's personally how close I see people of getting a title shot and the level of the competition of their wins and losses. Somebody might be 10-0 within one, but it might have been on Friday fights where it's still great competition, but they're still trying to make that name for themselves. So currently their name hasn't got a lot of weight to it. So kick us off is going to be Jonathan DeBella. Obviously was an ex-champion, right? Where he was either stripped, I believe he was stripped, right? His record is 3-1. His overall record is 13-1. Now, I have him as an 8 when it comes to the chance of a title shot. Now, this number is just 1 out of 10, basically. Right, 1 to 10. I think it's an 8 because he has got his next fight against Sommai, and I think the winner of that does fight against Prajanchai for the belt. So, the best fight he beat to his date is going to be Rui Botuholo, right? And the only loss he has in his whole professional career is currently to the current champ, is Prajanchai. Overall, he's ranked a top 10 kickboxer within the whole world, especially within the bantamweight, right? And he is the former strawweight kickboxing world champion. The next one is obviously going to be Sommai. So his one record is 9-3, which is impressive, going basically 3-1, right? Every 3 wins he has 1 loss, and I think that's decently impressive. A 75% win streak, 75% win chance. His overall record is even more impressive, with 375 wins, 49 losses, and only 9 draws. Again, the chance of a title fight is an 8. Now, if I knew who would have had a better chance of winning, I would have gave them a 9. But I do think it's a 50-50 fight. I can't currently say who I think is going to win. The best fighter he has beat is Joseph Lasiri, and the only time he has lost within one has been to the likes of Jonathan Haggerty, who was the ex-champion, and he's lost to Prajanchai 2 times. Now, let's not forget, right, that he is a former 1 flyweight Muay Thai world champion, right, and the inaugural 1 strawweight Muay Thai world champion, and the inaugural strawweight kickboxing world champion. So he has he's used to hold 3 different belts, right? So this one, I mean, where currently he's one of the best fighters who hasn't got a belt right now. From there is Johan Estupinan. Now, this one's probably one of the most rogue picks on here. His one record is 5-0, right? And his overall record is 27-0. Now, the best fighters he's beat is El Jamari and Johan Ghazali. Now, the Johan Ghazali one is a very impressive victory, especially since I thought he was going to go the other way. I thought Ghazali was going to win the Battle of the Johans. It didn't happen. Now, he has got a very impressive record, but he is fighting in probably one of the more dangerous divisions, right, within that flyweight division. There is a buttload of talent within that division, or especially the lower classes when it comes to like Muay Thai kickboxing. So his chance of getting a shot is going to be a 4. I think there's a lot of people he has to beat before he's even thought about when it comes to getting this shot. So I think there's another 2 people on this list currently who definitely have a better chance of getting a shot, right? And there's probably another 3 or 4 who aren't on the list who have a better chance of getting a shot. But a very impressive fighter currently. The next one is going to be Kongthoranee Sor.Sommai. His one record is 11-2. His overall record is 72 wins, 16 losses, and 1 draw. Now, I have his chance of getting a title shot at a 7. The reason is he's coming off of a massive win over Nongo, and he's also beaten the Krob Fairtex. So he's getting up there within the rankings. And let's not forget that one record is very impressive currently. So, and to think he's only done that in 2 years. I think he joined the One Championship in 2023. So to be 11-2, right, and beating the likes of Nongo and the Krob Fairtex and losing to Superlek, it's very big when it comes to getting his name known. The next one is going to be Takeru Segawa, who's also from this flyweight division, right? Obviously, Segawa prefers the kickboxing. His one record is 1-1. Right, his overall record is 43-4. Now, being able to get 43 wins and then 4 losses, right, that's basically 11 wins to every 1 loss. That's how impressive that record is. Now, the chance of a title shot, I have an 8. Reason is, he's obviously fighting Rodtang at 1-1-7-2. Now, the best fighter he's beat is going to be Thantsin. Currently within 1, his only win. His only loss was to Superlek. Not a bad person to lose to when I had him as the best champion within One Championship. Right, Thantsin was obviously, he's on the up and come, right, and he's doing really well. He has lost 2 fights now though, Thantsin, to Soryanlek and Takeru Segawa, but he's a very impressive and a very fun fight to watch. So Segawa definitely gets on here purely because he is a monster. I think he's the only free division or free weight class champion within the K1 circuit. So, very impressive fighter. From there we have Rodtang Jitmuangnon. Now, his one record is 16-1, which is, I think, the best record within the whole of One Championship. His overall record is 273 wins, 43 losses, and 10 draws. Now, his chance of a title shot is a 9. It's actually higher than his counterpart Segawa's. The reason for this is not only is he high up in the ranking within kickboxing, but also really high up when it comes to Muay Thai. And the only reason he's not a champion was because he got stripped of his belt. Right, the best fighters he's beat is Joseph Lasiri, Dennis Purich, and he's beat John Haggerty 2 times. Right, the only fighter he's lost to is going to be Superlek, obviously. Rodtang is 16-2 because he lost to Mighty Mouse. But that was under MMA rules, which we're not going to count. So his real record is 16-1 when it comes to strictly kickboxing and Muay Thai. Definitely the biggest talent currently without a belt. Right, if I had to do fighters who had belts and don't have belts, then Rodtang is easily within the top 3 fighters within the whole of the One Championship. Right, definitely one of the bigger names. Like if you look at 1-1-7-2, Rodtang and Segawa is headlining it over the likes of 5 title fights. So it's just one of them. He's definitely the best fighter who has not got a belt. From there, we're going on to Wei Rui. Now, his one record is 1-1. His overall record is 70-4. And that's seriously impressive. He's probably, I think he's deemed the best Chinese kickboxer ever. And obviously, he grew up doing Sanda and transitioned into K1 and dominated. The best fighter he's beat is Akimoto and his only loss was to John Haggerty recently when he challenged for John Haggerty's kickboxing belt. Now, overall, it was a very good fight, and I think Wei Rui actually did better within the earlier rounds. He's never went to that 4th or 5th round, so I think a couple more fights within the division against high-level talent, and he'll get that shot again. I just don't see that shot coming anytime soon. Right, I think he has to win 1 to 2 fights now to get that shot at Haggerty again. So I don't think he fights Haggerty until next year, next summer, even if he has a really good year. So that's why his chance of a title shot is a 6. From there, it's Petchtanong. His one record is 3-1, but the real reason why he's on this list is his overall record. 359 wins to 56 losses to 1 draw. I don't think you're going to find somebody with a an overall record as good as that. Right, his chance of a title shot is also going to be a 6. He's in the same division. He's a real good fighter within this division, but there is a lot of fighters within this division. Now, obviously, he was supposed to fight Ilias, and I still want that fight to happen. The reason it is a 6 is because even if one of them won, I think they still have to fight another 1 or 2 times to get a shot at the belt. The same thing, the best fighter he's beat is Akimoto, and he's only lost to Captain. Well, I'm going to keep it at that because I'm going to struggle to say that name. He's only lost to Capitan. From there, I've just mentioned him, Ilias Ennahachi. Overall record of 5-0 within 1, and a 40-3 record. The chance of a title shot, again, I've said 6. Now, the reason it's a 6 is because he pulled out against Petchtanong. So either they're going to run it back, or I could even see him fighting the likes of Wei Rui. But even then, he still has to fight other people first. Right, there's a lot of people within that division, and one keeps just hiring more and more killers within that division. So I can see him having to fight a good couple of times before getting a belt. But again, he's also an X1 Championship belt holder. Right, it used to be, I believe it was the flyweight kickboxing world title. But he had to strip it because he wasn't able to make the weight. So he's stripped and moved up. Now, he has never lost within 1. But the fighters he has beat is also Akimoto. But he's also beat Superlek. His only loss, right, Superlek's only loss within the 1 championship is to Ilias. So this is what I mean when I say he's a legit fighter, right, especially within kickboxing. From there, we're going on to Kiamran Nabati. Currently he's 5-0 within 1. A serious dark horse within the division. All of these fighters currently are within that bantamweight division. Right, Kiamran, amazing fighter. Right, specifically Muay Thai. He's 23-0 overall in his career. Now I have his shot at a 7, and the reason I have him at a 7 is he's staying active, and the fighters he's beat are like Suar Black recently. He's beat Ferrari Fairtex and Nongo, and he's never lost. Right, them are 3 massive names when it comes to Muay Thai. Now, from there, again, I can see him having a fight or 2 before getting a shot at the belt. But the main part of this is that in my last video, or my other video, I did say that I think Kiamran Nabati should fight Jonathan Haggerty. And I think it should be a Muay Thai bout. And the winner obviously moves closer and closer to getting that Muay Thai title. And I can't see it happening. Right, I do think he's a really good fighter. He did amazing against Nongo, amazing against Suar Black. Right, so I think he's a real dark horse, a real dangerous fighter. But from there, we're going to go on to another fighter within the bantamweight. Or he might have moved. So we're going on to Nico Carrillo. They're at King of the North. His 1 record is 4-1. his overall record is 27 to 4 to 1. Now, his only loss is to Nabil, and that was recently. Now, that was a devastating loss. Right, he got knocked out, absolutely destroyed. Right, Nabil was clipping him with everything, and Nico didn't have an answer. But Nico's also beat Simon Petchfergus and Nongo, and looked good doing it. Right, he was undefeated for a very long time. Now, the trouble is, he's on about that he's moving up. And I think if he moves up, he's going to have the same problem as what he did against Nabil, where he's not as good against them taller fighters, but he is a very big bantamweight, right? You can tell he struggles to make the weight. But if he moves up, then I'll give the chance of a title shot down. Right, I'll probably put it at like a 5. If he stays in the division, I'm keeping it at that 7. Yes, you lost to Nabil, but as soon as Nabil and Superlek fight, then Nico either has one fight and then title fight, or he can go for the title fight straight away. Look, let's not forget, Nico was supposed to be fighting Superlek before Superlek pulled out and Nabil had to step in, right? So he was going to get that title shot anyway. So it's why I have his chances still so high. From there, we're moving up in the weight division. If you didn't know, all of these are going by weight. So we're now onto the featherweight division. The first one, Bompara Kouyate. One record of 2 to 1, overall record of 36 to 2, which, you know, if you're looking at Muay Thai, is a seriously impressive record. Now, if his chance of a title shot an 8.5, if I'm being honest, that could have been a 9. He's beat Luke Lisi and he decimated Joe Natawat, right, but he did knock out both. He's only lost to Shakir Al-Takriti, right, that was one of his first fights. But that Luke Lisi and that Joe Natawat win are seriously impressive. Now, Taiwan Chai obviously is fighting for the kickboxing belt. It's the reason it's not a 9 or a 10. Taiwan Chai's fighting for the kickboxing belt currently against Masaaki Noiri at 1172. So he can't challenge for that belt at the moment. And if Taiwan Chai wants to stay on and fight Superbond for the kickboxing actual title, then again he has to wait, or he has to fight again. So which is why it's an 8.5. Because I know he's having to wait. If he didn't have to wait, it'd be a 9 or a 9.5 because he's next in line for that Muay Thai bout against Taiwan Chai. But yeah, very impressive fighter, very rangy as well. Right, did really well against the likes of Luke Lisi. Right, did very well against Joe Natawat, knocking him out in round 1. From there, just mentioned him, Masaaki Noiri. It'd be a little bit more disrespectful not to mention him. Obviously, he's one record. He has not had the best time within 1 currently, going 1 to 2. Right, and his overall record of 50 to 13 is still impressive. Now, fighters he's beat is obviously he's beat Shakir Al-Takriti, right, and he's lost to Sitachai and Lu Mengyang. Now, Noiri's a bit of a weird one because he's been doing decent. He's also struggled at moments, and I think that front forwards heavy stance that he has, where he just goes forwards, isn't serving him the best currently, and I do think he'll be able to switch it up. Now, his chance of a title shot is a 10, because obviously he's getting the interim bout against Taiwan Chai for the kickboxing, featherweight kickboxing interim belt. But it's just a chance of, do you think he wins? And currently, I don't think he wins. I think Taiwan Chai still does beat him. But it is a 10. He is definitely getting it. Right, he's a very impressive fighter. Like, he's a 2-weight K1 champion. Right, like, he's an impressive, very impressive fighter. But I just think that Taiwan Chai is going to beat him. But currently, without a belt, he is definitely one of the bigger names within the organisation. Right, like, he's definitely a bigger name than Bompara Kouyate. But I just think Kouyate is a better fighter within his chosen fight style. I think Noiri is a brilliant kickboxer. But the main reason he's on this list is because he's getting that shot against Taekwon. If he wasn't getting that shot against Taekwon, he probably wouldn't be on the list. So, but that is all of the fighters. But my question is, which one is most likely going to be a champion or champion again? Because a lot of these fighters on this list were champions who had to relinquish the belt or they gave it up. But I do want to know the answers in the comments.